Hi, I'm Moss Dunn. I'm the director of I Killed Iphigenia, a trans drag perspective. This show is a drag show that goes a little off the rails, that is inspired by the myth of Iphigenia, and it particularly explores being transmasculine and everything that comes with that, especially the idea of like, are you trans enough? And the desire to kill off a part of yourself. Yeah, it uses the form of a drag show and kind of breaks it throughout the show to examine this transmasculine identity. It's a show that I actually devised last year as my senior thesis when graduating from UCSD with a degree in theater directing. And I devised it with 3 other transmasculine artists, and we have brought 1 other transmasculine artist in this year. And we've redone the entire show to explore what it's like being 1 year deeper into our transitions, and we're all on different levels of the spectrum, but it's about this fight to try to kill a part of yourself in order to prove that you're trans enough to the world and to yourself.
So my name is Sparrow. I use he, she pronouns. And in this production in I Killed Iphigenia, I have been a performer and deviser. And we've been working on this show. This is its 2nd iteration, and so I was involved in the 1st iteration as well. So like bringing it back and like revamping it has been really, really exciting.
I'm a San Diego drag artist. I go by the name Sacred Deer and Headlights, so my drag has always been based on the myth of Iphigenia, and specifically this idea of one little thing, the killing of a sacred deer, being a small thing that happens that has this huge domino effect to these huge consequences of killing a whole family, and this idea of what if things actually had these huge rippling consequences. So my drag has explored that. I've been doing drag professionally in the scene for almost a year now, and I really wanted to dive into the myth in this form. I think the brutality of it is very fascinating.
Break my bones and break them for me. You want me to be fun? Okay. Break my skull and drink the gushing red that comes from out of it to make me malleable. You want me to be masculine, okay?
And then when you perceive yourself as different parts of the myth, and this idea of trying to separate yourself from an older part of yourself, I know I see myself before I started using my new name and pronouns as a completely different person, and I think a lot of other trans people do as well. And there's this idea of like, you killed my daughter, or like you killed my son with your transition, and it's this kind of fight against that of, no, it's actually not a death. It can be a death if you want it to be in your transition, but it actually doesn't need to be. That little person can still be alive inside of you, and you don't have to kill off the little girl that you were in order to be validly seen as transmasculine.
This is my first time at Fringe actually, and it's been really exciting. The preview night was really thrilling because we got to like meet like a bunch of different acts and performers, and it like talk to everyone about their shows, and so that was super fun, and I really did enjoy that.
Our show has a scene in it where someone puts trans tape on, and it also has a scene where someone puts on testosterone gel, and I think these are just really important moments of education, because these aren't things that I think most people have seen before, and I think transness, especially right now in the media, is being used as a scare tactic, and people are so afraid of it, especially with it in connection to their kids. And I think if there was just more education and more love and acceptance, and I view this show as education, showing how things are done, how the process of putting trans tape on, and it's just, I believe in radical education, especially when it comes to queer issues, because I think fear comes mostly from lack of education. But Fringe gives me a space to be able to share these stories and this information with people who haven't seen it before, and we don't have to worry about being palatable or digestible. We can just do our crazy trans art and feel good about it, because I feel like when you're not worried about appealing to a large group of people, you're able to really do the stuff that hits home with a lot of people.
A place for art is really important, and like space for that, and I think that's something that's never a bad thing to have. And so I think that bringing people together to create it's just amazing.